Against all odds, determined to make it out. The ordinary world. In an unassuming town, life's rhythms echoed predictability and routine. The sun rose predictably each day over rows of familiar houses, where families went about their daily rituals, utterly unaware of the coming storm. The protagonist, a person defined by the ordinary, navigated these streets that offered comfort and familiarity, attending to tasks that seemingly mattered only to maintain their tranquil existence. Here, the bustling of the town masked a quiet monotony, as if time itself had chosen to settle in and rest. Friends conversed over coffee, children laughed on swings, and the aroma of freshly baked bread blended with the essence of everyday life. Yet beneath this veneer of normalcy lay an unspoken yearning for more, a dormant desire waiting for its moment. This world, so normal yet perfectly inadequate, unknowingly set the stage for the extraordinary journey ahead. Here, unaware, the tale of, against all odds, quietly began. Amidst a routine day in their ordinary world, the protagonist encounters an unforeseen disruption that shatters the calm. It arrives without warning, catching them off guard and dismantling their sense of normalcy. This sudden event is both bewildering and alarming, leaving the protagonist reeling in confusion. Despite its unexpected nature, the occurrence holds an air of mystery, hinting at deeper, unfathomable changes on the horizon. As they grapple with its implications, there is an inevitable shift from comfort to chaos, pushing them towards a realm they never imagined entering. Their once predictable existence now teeters on the edge, with this unexpected event acting as a catalyst. Though the details of what lies ahead remain obscured, the protagonist senses that their life will never be the same. Unbeknownst to them, this moment marks the opening chapter of a life-altering journey they are just beginning to comprehend. The call to adventure. Oliver stood on the precipice of change as his quiet life was abruptly disrupted. The moment materialized unexpectedly, drawing him out of the ordinary. He had always envisioned a life of gradual progress, yet here he was, thrust into the heart of an unforeseen journey. As the signs of imbalance became impossible to ignore, Oliver sensed a deep pull, an invitation to step forward into unknown challenges. This was not just any path, it was a call to adventure, demanding courage and resilience unlike anything he had known. The world around him beckoned, whispering tales of uncharted territories and possibilities. With eyes set on an uncertain horizon, Oliver realized this was a pivotal moment, the start of a quest he had to accept. It was time for action, to embrace the adventure that lay ahead, even if it meant facing untold risks. The call to adventure was unrelenting, and he could not refuse. Confronted with an insurmountable challenge, the protagonist stood at the edge of a precipice, both literally and figuratively. The reality of the task ahead was daunting, made even more so by the absence of a clear path forward. The unexpected event had thrust them into a situation that tested every ounce of their resolve. There was no roadmap, no prior preparation for this kind of adversity. Doubts loomed large, as the enormity of the undertaking became apparent. Yet, amid the uncertainty, a quiet determination began to flicker. It was a battle not just against external circumstances, but also an internal conflict where fear threatened to paralyze. With a deep breath and an ever-growing sense of defiance, the protagonist prepared to venture into the unknown. This was not simply about overcoming odds, but redefining what was possible in a world that suddenly demanded so much more. Amid the swirling confusion and overwhelming darkness, the protagonist finds themselves plunged into the depths of an unrelenting crisis. With every familiar thing stripped away, the weight of despair is almost suffocating. The once vibrant world has faded into a bleak landscape where hope itself seems elusive. Uncertainty and fear gnaw at any remaining resolve, turning each passing moment into a struggle to maintain sanity. Isolation amplifies the sense of vulnerability, leaving the protagonist battling against an intense internal turmoil. Thoughts spiral inwards, questioning the very fabric of what remains true. Yet, in these shadows, an inner voice whispers the urgency of endurance, hinting at a resilience lying dormant within. It is in this darkest hour that the seed of transformation quietly begins to take root, unseen but not unfelt. The journey towards the light seems distant, yet the faintest glimmer of its possibility flickers somewhere distant. Everything crumbled in an instant, leaving nothing but emptiness and echoes of what once was. The familiar landscape of life, once vibrant and reassuring, collapsed like a house of cards. It felt as though the universe had conspired against all sense of fairness, snatching away every semblance of stability and comfort. The protagonist stood amidst the ruins, surrounded by the debris of shattered dreams and lost hopes. This was not just a loss of material possessions but an erosion of identity and purpose. Grief and frustration intertwined, forming a suffocating haze that seemed inescapable. Every attempt to cling to remnants of the past proved futile. The reality of losing everything was a stark and relentless reminder of vulnerability, challenging every notion of resilience previously held. Yet, somewhere deep inside, a flicker of resolve flickered, refusing to be extinguished amid the overwhelming despair. Amidst the remnants of a once familiar world, survival demanded more than mere endurance. Daily routines had crumbled, replaced by precarious scavenging and innumerable struggles. With resources scarce and hope dwindling, the boundaries of perseverance were tested repeatedly. The protagonist fought relentless hunger and fatigue, each day a new battle against the elements and despair. Every choice, once trivial, held life-altering consequences. Adaptability became their greatest ally, learning to navigate the unpredictable terrain and vanishing comforts. Isolation echoed loudly, casting a shadow of doubt on their endurance. Yet, through each moment of desperation, a flicker of resolve emerged, fostering a determination to persevere. With each obstacle overcome, survival was not just about facing the visible challenges, but about confronting the fears and doubts that threatened to suffocate even in the promise of dawn. The struggle for survival was not just a battle for the body, but a relentless war waged within the soul. In the throes of survival, everything seemed to conspire against progress. With every step mired in quicksand of setbacks, the struggle intensified. Isolation crept in as forces larger than anticipated bore down relentlessly. Yet, digging deep within, a flicker of defiance was unearthed. Despite the avalanche of challenges, a stubborn determination took root, refusing to succumb to the chaos. The world around felt overwhelming, with each breath a test of endurance against an adversarial tide. Amid this tumult, the realization dawned that surrender was not an option. Harnessing every ounce of remaining strength, the journey, fraught as it was, transformed into a pursuit not just of survival, but of defiance. A quiet resolve whispered that perseverance itself became an act of rebellion. As circumstances continued their assault, this newly ignited will stood unwavering, carving a path forward in the face of encroaching despair. As despair settled in like an unwelcome fog, a subtle yet profound change emerged on the horizon. A glimmer of possibility, a ray of hope, pierced the darkness, illuminating a path forward. Amidst the chaos and despair, this newfound hope sparked a change in perspective. The protagonist felt a shift, however slight, in the suffocating heaviness that had engulfed them. It was an unexpected solace, a gentle reminder that all was not lost. Embracing this flicker of hope, they began to notice small, overlooked details that hinted at imminent transformation. It was as if the universe had conspired to show them that there was still potential for change and resilience. In this delicate dance between despair and hope, the protagonist understood that it was crucial to hold on to this light, however tenuous, as the path forward began to reveal itself, filled with opportunities yet to be discovered. In the shadowy landscape of despair, a glimmer of camaraderie emerged. As the protagonist wandered through the desolate terrain of hardship, their instinctual call for connection resonated with familiar echoes. Scattered amid the gloom were kindred souls, individuals who had faced similar adversities, each carrying their own tales of survival and resilience. This burgeoning alliance fostered a renewed sense of determination and strategic foresight. Conversations unveiled shared goals that transcended personal ambitions, weaving together a tapestry of support that fortified their collective will. With every exchange, trust was forged, designing blueprints to navigate treacherous paths ahead. Each ally offered unique strengths, revealing the power of unity in their stand against the engulfing odds. In this newfound unity, the protagonist rediscovered latent courage, realizing that while individual might could falter, the strength of many could transcend the greatest of challenges. Together, they ignited a beacon of hope that promised a brighter horizon. Uncovering inner strength. Amidst the turmoil and desperation, the protagonist delved deep within, seeking that glimmer of inner strength that had lain dormant. Through introspection, they began to recognize the resilience and courage that had quietly guided them through the darkest moments. Memories of past triumphs over adversity served as a foundation, reinforcing their belief in their own capabilities. This newfound understanding illuminated a path out of despair, reinforcing the fragile tendrils of hope. With each challenge confronted, the protagonist's confidence grew, fueled by an inner resolve that had previously gone unnoticed. This chapter marked a transformative moment, as they embraced their potential and prepared to navigate the trials ahead with renewed vigor. The discovery was more than just a realization, it was a pivotal awakening that would shape the course of their actions in the face of the formidable journey that awaited beyond these pages. With newfound strength and a clear sense of purpose, the protagonist begins to devise a plan to escape the dire circumstances that had threatened to overwhelm them. The initial despair has given way to determination, sharpening their focus on what needs to be done. Drawing on resources both external and internal, they draft a strategy that hinges on timing and precision. Allies, discovered unexpectedly, bring their own strengths to the table, enhancing the feasibility of the escape. A careful assessment of risks and veritable hurdles reveal both the dangers and the strengths of their unified group. Unwavering resolve and an understanding of their own capabilities fuel the courage needed to confront what lies ahead. As plans solidify, the weight of expectation mingles with a quiet hope that, perhaps, freedom is within reach. The blueprint for liberty is set, now awaiting the moment it will be turned into action. Rising from the ashes, execution of the plan. With the plan meticulously crafted, execution was paramount. Each step had been thoroughly assessed, anticipating potential pitfalls, yet no strategy could predict the crescendo of real-time risks. The group moved with silent determination, every member playing a critical role in the unfolding escape. As they navigated the hostile terrains that threatened collapse, their cohesion was tested, relying heavily on trust and the bond formed in adversity. Timing was their ally and their foe, each heartbeat marking the passage of vital seconds. The air crackled with tension, the weight of their collective fate hinging on precise actions. Despite the nerve-wracking uncertainty, a shared resolve ignited their spirits, casting away doubts. With the plan in motion, there was no turning back, no room for hesitation. The path to freedom demanded resilience as they plunged forward, committed to breaking the chains that had bound them, his chapter marking the decisive moment of their relentless struggle. Overcoming obstacles. Each obstacle loomed large, casting shadows of doubt, yet the resolve to break free from despair sparked a deeper drive. Each challenge tested the limits of endurance, be they physical barriers or psychological battles. The path was riddled with uncertainties, but slowly, a sense of clarity emerged. Strategic steps taken with newfound allies fortified our hero's spirit, transforming challenges into stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Missteps did occur, each one carrying lessons invaluable to the journey ahead. Through sheer willpower and an indomitable spirit, obstacles were surmounted with creativity and resourcefulness. This relentless pursuit was more than mere survival, it was about reclaiming autonomy and stepping closer to a new dawn. As the dust settled on the latest hurdle, the understanding that overcoming these obstacles reinforced inner strength was clear. Every small victory built a bridge to freedom, offering renewed confidence for the path yet to come. In the midst of daunting challenges, resilience emerged as a formidable force, transforming despair into determination. As obstacles mounted, the protagonist became a vessel of tenacity, discovering that resilience wasn't merely an act but a state of mind. The trials endured honed their spirit, each setback serving as a catalyst for growth rather than defeat. Every failure was met with renewed resolve, each lesson learned steeling their heart against adversity. In this transformative phase, clarity replaced chaos, unlocking pathways previously obscured by doubt. Resilience became the keystone of their journey, a silent yet unyielding companion that bolstered their ability to forge ahead. With a newfound sense of purpose, the protagonist harnessed the power of resilience to chart a course through the storm, turning the impossible into a more achievable reality. Thus, resilience became not just a means of survival, but the foundation upon which hope could thrive. In Breaking Free, the protagonist stands at the precipice of liberation, fueled by the resilience amassed during the trials. With determination blazing like a beacon of hope, they confront the final barriers to freedom. Through unwavering resolve and newfound courage, the bonds of confinement are shattered one struggle at a time. Every past defeat now serves as fuel, igniting an indomitable spirit that refuses to yield to adversity. The oppressive weight of despair weakens as the protagonist boldly steps into the unknown, leaving behind the chains that once seemed unbreakable. Empowered by inner strength and the alliances forged in trying times, they chart a path towards liberation. Each step forward resonates with a triumph of will over circumstance, marking the transition from a prisoner of fate to an architect of destiny. The chapter closes with the truth that breaking free is not just physical but deeply internal, heralding the dawn of transformative change. The moment of triumph was like a climactic crescendo, a testament to the unwavering spirit that had battled through relentless adversity. As the dust of struggle settled, the protagonists stood on the precipice of victory, their hearts beating with a newfound rhythm of strength and liberation. It was a victory not just of circumstance but of the inner self that refused to surrender. With glaring obstacles behind them, they gazed forward, understanding the road lay ahead but no longer feeling crippled by it. The shadows of doubt and the weight of past failures had been shed, replaced by a fierce glow of courage and accomplishment. Through camaraderie and resilience, they emerged not